Hello guys, this is John. Welcome to JMeter Tutorial Session 3. In today's topic, we are going to see assertion. What is assertion? Assertion in JMeter, it is used to validate the response received from the server for each request. Response assertion, let's add pattern strings to be compared against various fields of the server's response which we received. And the next one is size assertion. Each request, whenever it gets processed, it will consume some bytes. So we are going to check for that using size assertion. Next one is XPath Assertion. XPath Assertion allows an XPath evaluation against the web server responses to ensure the specified entity is present or an element attribute value matches expectations. XPath, this is one of the selector which we commonly use in Selenium. We'll explore it later on. JSON Assertion. This assertion usually used to be tested against REST API. We are going to check with that JSON element only. Last one is HTML assertion. It is not commonly used, but when we want to check HTML syntax from the response, we are using HTML assertion. Let's explore in JMeter. We have launched a JMeter. It has an empty test plan. I'm going to add thread group. We'll rename the thread group to assertion. And the rest of the properties, let it be default as it is. Next, I'm going to add sampler. Let me pick up HTTP request only at this time. Next, I'm going to add listener view results tree and view results in table. These two is sufficient now. First, let's check response assertion. I'm navigating to demo place. Removing protocol and placing it over here in protocol field, and path also I'm removing from a server name field to path field. This is the first step, the configuration on HTTP request. It is a get method. It will get a response from this server name to this particular path. Before executing, we need to save this test plan. Let me navigate to desktop. Let me create new folder. Yes, it is saved. Let me execute now. Yes, we have got the response. This is the response what we have got at present. It is 200. For the successful, it will return 200 code. If you see here, start time, thread name, what we have given, what is the name of the request, how much time it took, status and bytes for the request. Let me execute. It's got the response from the server. This is the request what we have sent. Type method is get. This is the response data. Response body is this. Now we are going to add response assertion. In that response assertion, we can check against whatever response we have got. In that whatever responses we have received. This is a response data. Let me take 200 code in response assertion. Let me add 200. I'm going to execute now. It is failing. Sorry, we have done the mistake. Okay, text response I have selected. Instead, I can select response code. Let me rerun this. Yes, now it is passed because test response code is 200. If I make correction here, instead of 200, let me put 400. Then in this scenario, sure it will be failed because response code what we have received is 200. Test failed, code expected to contain 400. This is assertion failure. Sorry guys, we need to add assertion results listener because that also will give details what is expected and why it is failed. Let me clear all the result. It's cleared. So I'm going to rerun the test now. Yes. If you see assertion result, it is giving response assertion test failed, code expected to contain 400 because we have given 400 response code. For response code it has to contain 400, that is why it is failed. Let me edit this with 200 because successful response code is 200. Now it is successful because it is not printing any exception. If you see here also test is pass and the result in table also test in pass. And here if you expand, you can see that expected is 400. Here it has met all the criteria. So that is why it was in green. Next we are going to check size assertion. We will check against the byte for the each request. If you check in a previous execution, we can see that it took bytes 19902. For positive scenario, we'll mention 19902. It is equal to 19902, then it will pass. If it is not equal to this, then it will failure. We have other checks as well, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Let me execute this. Yes, it is passed because it is not thrown any exception. Yes, it is successful. Let me reduce this. Let me run this again. This time it is failed. It will show here what is the criteria and why it is failed. The result was the wrong size. It was 19902 bytes, but should have been equal to 19900 bytes. This is very important guys. We always have to check for each response and request and what is the size it was consumed, as we are doing load testing and performance testing. Let me add the next one is JSON. JSON assertion. This assertion we are using when we are testing against REST API. Will show you. This is the site where we can do check of APIs. So this request, it will list out the number of users. This is the response what we will get when we are processing this request from JMeter. I have changed server name and path as well. To check JSON assertion, here I am going to disable response assertion and size assertion. You need to enable additionally assert value whenever you are doing testing against API so that we will not get much failures. Let me clear all the results. It is printing error, JSON assertion path cannot be null or empty. Okay, fine. Got it. I have got this error. So let me enable this. response assertion. What is the response we are getting for the request? Okay, that we need to check actually. In view results and tree table, we need to check that response body, what it contains. We'll change the type from text to JSON path tester. Now it will show in JSON format. Wanted to execute the second one total. If I want to test only this row, then we'll check. This is a variable you need to type for JSON guys. $.total. So if I run this, for this value it has to show 12. Yes. Now I'm going to apply in a JSON assertion. If I process this API, then it has to give me result 12. Otherwise it will fail the test case. This is the path you need to place here in assertion JSON path. So 12 is the one, okay, what we need to verify. Let me save this. Let's rerun this test again. Yes, this time it is not thrown any error because it is matched with the value 12. Let me change it to 120. Let's run the test again. Here you can see that JSON assertion value expected to match 120 but did not match 12. So far we have seen response assertion, size assertion, XPath assertion that we need to see. JSON assertion, it is done. So let's check XPath assertion in JMeter console. Let me add XPath assertion. Let me show you guys, okay, what is the XPath and how we used to locate. Open the browser, right click on the web page, click on inspect, or you can use the combination key Ctrl Shift plus I. Let's test title of the page. It usually used to come under head. Yes, title is store. This one actually we can capture custom XPath like // head, then title, what is the text it contains. There are a lot of plugins are available. I have CrowPath. Here also we can take, as well as you can use Firebug. Like that many plugins are available. You can use any plugin or custom XPath. It is up to your wish. So I am going to take from here. This one is relative XPath and this is absolute text path. This one is tag name. So we are going to take relative XPath. I copy it. In XPath assertion, I am going to add XPath where in title it contains text store. This is what we are going to check now. Website is demoblaze.com. So we need to change it again. demoblaze.com. Here it is index.html. Why I am typing like this? Because this has first portion is demoblaze.com and index.html is a path. Here let me disable JSON assertion because it has a different website. Okay, we are going to execute only for XPath assertion. Let me clear the result. Executing now. One more thing you have to keep in your mind is like whenever you are getting this error, then something you need to configure in assertion level itself. Here in XPath assertion, you need to enable use CD. Okay, this one you need to enable so that your XPath assertion test it will get executed successfully. Otherwise, it will throw error. Always your test it will be failed. Let me rerun again now. Yes, this time it is passed. Sample result, response, everything we have got. and if you see in assertion, we do not have any exception for this. So here everything is fine. And next one is HTML assertion. This one, let it leave it blank. During execution of this HTML assertion, if you wanted to save this assertion result, then you can browse here and you can save it. Let me save this. Let me clear all the test results. Executing now. Yes, it is passed because it do not have any syntax errors. If you wanted to see that in HTML format, this is how page looks like. Today we have seen what is response assertion, size assertion, XPath assertion, JSON assertion, and HTML assertion. Hope you guys find this session helpful. If so, please do subscribe and share it with your friends. Thank you.